Okay. Good morning, friends. So, welcome to Wireless Sensor Network. So, presently, we are discussing the concept of the ad hoc routing protocol. Okay. Ad hoc stands for a node that may be mobile, laptop, iPad, or computer, whatever it may be, which can be connected to the network by using wireless connections, or wireless links. So, I repeat, ad hoc stands for node connected to the network by using. Nana, please mute your phone. Class is running. I request all the students, please do not disturb the class while you are entering into the class. Please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay. I repeat, ad hoc stands for node connected to the network by using wireless link. Okay. Because the topology is a main important concept. Topology stands for connection between the nodes is called as a, once a network is created, how the network is created and the way the node connected to the network is called as a. My dear students, you are a finely students. Please be maintain discipline. There is a lot of disturbances creating. So please, you can understand better. Thank you. Okay, next. Topology stands for the way the nodes are connected to the network is called as a topology. In the wide network, the nodes are stationary, but in the wireless, the nodes are not stable, they can move. So mobility, due to the mobility is called as a dynamism. Due to the dynamism, topology changes. Topology changes. So as the topology changes, the path to destination is very difficult. Okay, so that's why next one is the routing protocol. So to create a routing protocol, because if you are creating ad hoc networks, then a routing is important. That routing is mainly depends upon the topology. Here, the topology is a dynamically changes because due to the mobility, node changes from one place to another place with respect to time. So that's why as the node changes due to mobility and the topology is also changes. So as it changes, then the path and the link, everything is changes. So that's why it is very difficult to create a routing protocol. Okay, right. Next, it is already explained in the previous class. Next is what are the major challenges? Because to create a protocol, routing protocol. What is a protocol? Protocol stands for a standard way. So there are systematic method to create a path. What is the source? What is the destination? What is the budget? What is the shortest distance? What is the expansion? So that's why what are the major challenges of the ad hoc networks? The mobility, already explained. Bandwidth in a stationary, in the wide network, the bandwidth is enormous and the data transmission is enormous. But in the wireless, it is using the radio frequency. That is, the bandwidth is very less. Bandwidth is constrained. So that's why while you are using the wireless, bandwidth is a very constrained. That means a limited. You are not supposed to use continuous bandwidth. There is a restriction. Okay. Next is weather-prone channel state. Weather-prone channel due to the, I repeat, due to the mobility, topology changes. Topology is also part of the routing concept. So as the routing changes, as the path changes, topology changes. Topology changes, routing table changes. So routing table changes, overhead increases. Four 467. Anna, this is not the right way to behave in the class. Please maintain the discipline. Okay. So next is as the dynamism or topology changes, bandwidth is also changes, overhead is also changes. As the overhead changes, bandwidth will be changes. So this is the main headache. Next is error-prone channel. Error-prone channel stands for in the broadcast. Broadcast means one to many or many to many. So that's why suppose a link is damaged or failed, then it can search for the another link. For this, they can send the control packet. This control packet will collide the already data transmission in the link will be collide. Collision takes place. So that's why there is a problem. So this is the one problem. Next is hidden and exposed terminal. For each and every terminal, there is a active area is there. Within this active area, they can use the same bandwidth. So that's why suppose if the system is outside the active area, that is called as a hidden terminal. That is called as a hidden terminal. Okay. Next is the suppose there are certain problems are there. One is okay. So this is called as a hidden problem. Hidden problem stands for which is outside already is communicating, but this don't know. So it is communicating. They can be collide each other. Collision should be takes place. Next is resource constraints. Resource constraints already know that bandwidth, power, and the power budget, everything related to the source constraint. So to create a routing protocol for the ad hoc networks, you can consider all these challenges. All these challenges. Next. Next is, this is the hidden problem already explained. So let us take, this is called as a area, active area of the A, and this is the active area of B, and this is the active area of the C. So A and B, for A, C is outside. This is called hidden terminal. For C, A is the hidden. So that's why A want to communicate B, C want to communicate B, then they can be collide each other. So because the hidden problem is there. Next. So what is the solution for the hidden problem? One is called as a MACA, medium access collision avoidance, and MACAW. So in this point of view, to avoid the hidden problem, then what happens? You can use the RTS and CTS protocol. You already know that and explained that several times. And in the wireless medium, that is called MACAW, medium access collision avoidance for wireless, then you can use the four-step handshaking signal, RTS, CTS, data transmission, and acknowledgement. So this is showing in the next slide. So let us take, this is the four-stage handshaking signal, RTS, CTS, data, and acknowledgement. By using this, then we can avoid the collision from the hidden terminals. Okay, next, hidden terminal problems. Okay, hidden terminal problems stands for, suppose uh, T, A is hidden terminal to T and T is hidden terminal to A. So that's why T and R, T sending the data to R and A sending the data to R. But here the problem is, while the R is sending the data to T, it is unable to send the CTS signal to A. Okay, so after timed out period, A retransmit the data. After that, A retransmit the request. So, but already R is in transmission with T. So, A sending the RTS, this RTS is collision with the T data. So, there is a collision problem. This is called as a hidden terminal problem. Okay, and next one is the exposure problem. Okay, sorry, exposure problem. What is the exposure problem? I can explain right now. This is called exposure problem. So let us take B is already communicating with A, but B and C are in same area. While a node is in the same area or active area or the geographical region, then it can understand single data or single node is communicating. Dear students, please be patient and be maintain discipline. Don't give the chain. So you know that. You better understand. You are a final year students. Don't to be neglect that. Okay. So while they are in same active area, at a time one node should be transmitted. So while one node is transmitted, then other node cannot be sending the data, transmitting. So this is called as a protocol. But C want to communicate D, but both C and B are same active area, then C can be stopped to transmit the data to D. So this is called as a exposure terminal problem. This can block the data to B because B and C are same terminal, same area. So while B is communicating, C doesn't want to communicate because of the bandwidth problem. Right. So this is the exposure terminal problem already explained in the previous classes. So now we are going to next. So there is some other problem with the resource man already explained. Next is characteristics. Suppose let us take, this is already explained in the last class, distributed. Distributed stands for systems are connected to network virtually, but once a node is allocated a duty, then it can perform. But how and what we don't know. Whether task is allotted, then it will perform. Ultimately, the total task is completed by the distributed system. So for the routing protocol, for the ad hoc routing protocol, we should consider distributed because fault tolerance is easily find out by a single system also. Okay. Next is, suppose system changes, node changes, node is in mobility. Node mobility change for topology changes. So if you change the topology, you can immediately changes to stable topology while you are entering into particular place. So convergence is very fast. It is required, the convergence is very fast. Okay. Next, suppose this is the root computation and maintenance must involve a minimum number of nodes. Minimum number of nodes. So as the number of nodes, ad hoc network size is very less. Ad hoc network size is very less. So you can less number of nodes should be participate. Less number of nodes should be participate. Okay. All right. So next is localized. So localized stands for it is not the network is not spreading to global wise. Normally network is global, but ad hoc network is localized. So if you go to the globalized, then overhead is very headache problem. So overhead is large, bandwidth consumes. Okay, next is loop free. Loop free stands for, so same data should be repeated from the two distinct, the same different nodes. same data. So that means several times it is repeated. So that is called as a loop. So you avoid the loop. Next is stale routes. Stale routes stands for a node which is not responded several times by requesting the neighbor. So it is whether dead or it is not working properly. So that route is called as a stale node and that route is called as a stale route. So avoid the looping problem and also avoid the stale routes. Next to packet collision. So once a packet collision, it comes into the picture of the broadcast. So that's why please reduce the number of broadcasts. Please reduce the number of broadcasts. So why reduce the number of broadcasts? Because if your link is error free, then why you are searching for another broadcast? So that's why if your link is error free, then you are reducing almost set to zero the broadcasting. So that's why set the number of broadcasts very less, and you should maintain the sustained data by collision free. Right. So converging optimal routes and converge must be quick as possible. Okay. Next, optimally scale resources. Scale resources are number one, link budget, power of the route. Next, power of the node and bandwidth. You should be optimally use. Optimally use. Okay. Next, each and every node should know the information, the entire network information, topology information, everything should be there. And next one is the quality of service. Quality of service, what is the best quality you want applying to your nodes by the network? You should always improve the quality of service in the demand. And okay, so this is called as a support sensitive traffic. Okay, so you should consider this is the ideal characteristics of the wireless ad hoc networks. Number one, distributed and adapt to the new topology whenever there is a changes. Okay, find the distance, route computation that maintains minimum number of nodes. That means to reach the destination, what is the minimum number of nodes? So distributed network architecture and the mobility, that is called topology dynamism changes, and adapt the new topology immediately. Next, minimum number of nodes reach to destination, and it should be the ad hoc network always belongs to the localized, and avoid the loop free, avoid the loops, and also stale nodes and stale nodes. So next is distribution. In the distribution network, number of distribution, that is number of broadcasting should be as less as possible, and converge. So once there is a change, then immediately you can immediately converge to the topology. Next, you can optimal utilization of the resources, power of the node, power of the link, power of the route, and bandwidth. And each and every node should maintain a topology. That means what are the systems are there, what are the nodes are there, what are their destination, and what is the cost. Everything should be available. Next, quality of service is as high as possible whenever you demand. So then to support the sensitive traffic. This is the characteristics. Next. So what are the different types of routing protocols are available? That is called as a classification. So mainly the routing protocol for the ad hoc wireless network contains the four categories. The four classification. Number one, the first one is called as a reporting information update mechanism. Routing information update mechanism. The first one is called as a routing information update mechanism. Second one is called as a temporal information for routing. Next is topology information organization. Topology information organization. Classification based on the specific resources. On the basis of these main four categories, the routing protocols are designed. Number one, I can briefly explain to you. Routing information. That means already studied in the last semester in the networks. That means each and every node should maintain all the nodes available and the cost required to reach the required destination. Everything is available. Routing should be available. So that means what is the network? How many systems, how many nodes are there? So how to reach the destination, and what is the cost for the reaching the destination, and what is the immediate node? That is, everything is routing development. So routing updated. So that is apart from the recording mechanism. So routing information should be updated each and every time. Right? Next is temporal information. Temporal information, there are the two temporal information, past information and future expectation. So that means, suppose in the network, they can collect the information, what are the, suppose for a destination, what are the past routes are there, what is the budget is there, everything should be collected. So what is the optimum technique, what is the optimum distance is there, so that should be, they can be collected, that can be utilized for the future purpose. For the future. So future, so that is the, suppose future expectation. In the future, suppose here the node is not stable, it can be dynamically movement from one place to another place, then they can predict where to go. So then what are the steps are there? Suppose go to the 15 number node. Okay, in this topology, suppose there are the changes, topology changes, then what is the future? So that means they can expect the future, whether the node is changes, So that is called as a future expectation. That is called as a temporal information for routing. Number one, whether they can collect the previous information for establishment of the link to a particular node. Okay, so whenever required, they can use that. Next thing is, suppose in future, if there is due to the dynamism, then what are the steps are there? So what are the budget it will take? What is the shortest route is there? What is the immediate data is there? So that should be takes place. It is called as a temporal. Next is topology information organization. Topology information organization. So that means whether you are following IEEE 802.3 standards for the routing procedure. That is called ORP method. Second one is called as a hierarchical method. Hierarchy method stands for there is a certain procedure, who can start, who can mediator, who can sending. So that is called a particular priority is there. So that is called as a hierarchical routing. So next is the flat routing stands for they can follow without any priority, without any hierarchy. They can send anyway, but they can follow the addressing is the IEEE 802.3 standards. Simply, without hierarchy, that is called as a flat routing. With the hierarchy is called as a hierarchical routing. Hierarchy stands for, so who can start, who can send, who can mediate, who can receive. This is called as a hierarchical routing. And the last one is the resource. So resources stands for power budget. Resources stands for, this is about the power routing, geographical life, and route with flooding. So these are all the based. So first is routing table based. Second is past time based and future time based. Next is whether they are hierarchical or non-hierarchical. Next one is, suppose on the resource, optimal resources, power and geographical life and the flooding technology. So these are all the, considering all these things, we should create a routing protocol. Different routing protocols are there. So at present, I want to discuss about the basic routing information mechanism. So there are three types are there. One is hello, hello, Kartik, don't give your mobile to your home, or you can mute yourself, please. Please mute your mic. Right. So already explained here in the last slide. Now, because first I want to discuss about the routing information update mechanism. Routing information update mechanism. Right. So I think there are four categories. One is routing, next is temporal, next is hierarchical, and next is resource. This is the four categories. So within this category, the first category is routing update mechanism. Routing update mechanism. Okay. So within the routing update mechanism, there is three types are there. There are three types of routing protocols are there. Okay. Now, the first one is the proactive or table-driven routing protocol. Second one is called as a reactive or on-demand routing protocol. Third one is called as a hybrid routing protocol. First one, proactive or table-driven routing. So in the table-driven routing protocol, each and every node, I repeat, each and every node should maintain a routing table. Routing table, first point. This routing table contains, suppose you want to send the data to a particular destination, then it contains what is the immediate node, first point, to reach the destination, and the next one, what is the cost? What is the cost? Cost stands for number of hops. Number of hops. So the cost is also informed. What is the cost specified? To reach the destination from a particular source to particular destination, what is the cost? So that will be available in the routing table. I repeat, in the starting routing table, each node contains, suppose node contains reach the destination, what is the immediate node, what is the cost, okay, this will be available in the routing table. First point, at the initial stage, each and every node should update its information, and once the data is updated or routing table is updated, then that information should be flooding to entire network. Entire network. Once entire network, each and every node should update. Should update. Okay. This is called as a table-driven routing protocol. Number one, first, they can update the table. Second one, it can flood into the network. By using this, every network, every node should understand what is the cost, what is the immediate node to reach a particular destination. So all the information is available. All the nodes information is available in a particular table. That table is called as the routing table. Routing table. Okay, right. Second thing is on-demand routing protocols. On-demand routing protocol. In the on-demand routing protocols, the first one, no routing table is available. The first one, no routing table is available. Second one, no updation is available. Second one is a no updation is available. Third one, no flooding is available. No flooding is available. Whenever they require, whenever they require, they can establish a path at that time and they can transfer the data. But no previous information is stored or available in this protocol, in this mechanism. That is called as a on-demand routing protocol. Whenever you require, you establish a path and you can transfer the data and you can stop the, you can destroy the path. Creation the path, transfer the data, and destroy the path whenever you require. But no system cannot maintain a previous information and no flooding or no updation should be taken place. Next one is hybrid routing protocols. What is the hybrid routing protocols is that suppose a system can active a particular area that is called as a geographical region or geographical area or active area. While this is an active area, they can use the table-driven routing protocols. I repeat, it is a hybrid, the combination of the previous two. Whenever you can use the table-driven routing protocols means in the geographical region, you can use the table-driven routing protocol. And whenever you are on-demand, outside the geographical region, you can use the on-demand routing protocols. Okay, so there are four categories, four classifications. Within the classification, routing information about the update mechanism. So within this, there are three types is there. So now, suppose in the table-driven routing protocol, what are the different protocols that I want to explain? So let us take, so that is called as a, in the first two routing protocol, table-driven routing protocols. Table-driven routing protocol. In the table-driven routing protocol, there are four types out there. First one is called as a DSDV, Distance Vector Routing Protocol. Distance Vector Routing Protocol. Second one is called as a WRP, Wireless Route Protocol. Next one is CGSR, Cluster Head Gateway Switch Routing Protocol. Cluster Head Gateway Switch Routing Protocol. Next one is called as a Source Tree Adaptive Routing Protocol. Source Tree Adaptive Routing Protocol. Okay, right. Now, I want to discuss about the Distance Vector Routing Protocol. So actually, in the driven mechanism, there are three types are there. One is a routing table, next one is a hidden, and next one is a hybrid. In the routing development, routing table, this is the four classes, four types of protocols are there. DSDV, WRP, CGSR, and STAR. So next, I want to discuss about the distance vector routing protocol, DSDV. Okay, DSDV. So here, whatever it may be, the first thing in any network protocol, you should find out optimal path, shortest path, low cost. And whenever there is a dynamism, they can convergence immediately. They can converge immediately. These two are very, very important. Shortest path, and next one, whenever there is a dynamism or whenever there is a break, because of the mobility, then what is the shortest path? Then quickly converge to the network. These two tasks are important. Okay, right. Let us take, this is in the DSDV point of view, already explained that. Number one, it should maintain a information regarding, this is called as a routing table. This is called as a routing table. So let us take, this is called as a destination is a 2. Assume that destination is the 2. Suppose this is called as the source ID and this is the destination. Assume that there are 15 nodes are there. Suppose from source 1, I want to go to the source 2. This is my destination. Assume that. So to go to the destination, what is the immediate one? That is called as the next node is the 2. Then what is the distance? 1. And for each and every updation, a sequence number is increases. A sequence number is increases. Sequence number stands for further for each and every updation to the neighboring one, then what happens? The sequence number should be increases. So this can place a very crucial. Okay, right. Suppose let us take, I want to go to the source 1 to 3. So this is called my destination is the 3. So to reach the 3, there are different paths are there, 5, 4, 3 or 1, 2, 3. But you should consider large sequence number and less cost. Okay, less cost. And the distance is minimum. You should consider everything. This is called as a updation of the routing table. So that's what I'm saying in the previous one. Each and every node should maintain all the nodes exist in the network with the least cost and the distance and the cost and what is the immediate data. So this is called as a routing table. So to update the routing table, there are 3 steps are there. Number 1, once a data is updated, then its sequence number is incremented. So in the updation process, if the 2 information reaches to particular node, which data having the highest sequence number, that should be accepted and it should be updated. First point. Next, suppose if the 2 having the same sequence number, so which system sending the shortest number of nodes or least cost, that should be updated. So this is the updation process of the routing table. So by observing this, you will get information. Suppose I want to go to the 15, 1 to 15. So which path I want to select? So if you're not maintaining the routing table, then you will face definitely problems. So that's why it should maintain the routing table. Suppose let us take, I want to go to the 50. Then what is my next node to go to reach the destination 50? What is the immediate node? That immediate node is 5. So that can be available in the routing table. Then what is the distance? 4 steps. 1, okay, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let us take 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here 1, 2, okay, this is called 3 and 4. So within this 4, then which can accept? Highest sequence number should be accepted. So this is called as the distance vector routing protocol. Okay, so this is having a routing table. This routing table having all the information of the nodes and what is the distance and what is the immediate node with the sequence number. Sequence number stands for each and update. Why? Because the DV protocol, it can sequentially update the information and also flooding. Once it is flooding, a routing table should be updated. As updated, sequence number increases. Right. So that's why it can choose the optimal path. Very good. Next one, suppose if there is a break. What is the meaning of the break? Suppose let us take 11 and 10 is there. 11 and 10 is there. Okay. 11 and 10. Suppose if this path is breaking, so then what happens? If the path is breaking, the cost will become infinite. So immediately, suppose 10 transmitting the data to 11. Normal, if there is a link established, but unfortunately this is moving. So this 11 system is moving. So once it is moving, then what happens? This link is no more. If this link is no more, then the cost will become the infinite. According to the DSDV protocol, immediately this 10 can update the information with the cost is infinite for the destination level. After updation, it will flooding to neighbors. It will flooding a neighbor. That neighbor can also flooding this information to remaining neighbors if they neighbor. By this way, by this flooding, the updated information about the breaking with the cost of infinite is updated everywhere. Okay, so that's why this is by this way the destination can find out, or each and every node should find out there is a breaking. How? Once there is a breaking, the cost will become the infinite. That system can update information to neighbors. Neighbors update information to neighbors. By this way, the break should be identified. Now, once this 11 is shifted from here to here, okay? Now, what happens? What is the immediate neighbor? Now, instead of 10, now it will become the 14. So 14 will be make the communication, and this protocol it can find out the cost. So now what happens? 11 is again comes to and reaches to 14. So 14 immediately update the routing table, and immediately broadcast or flooding to all the system. So now in previous, what happens? This is called as a, it will take the, suppose it is called as a 11. So now it is either 11, what is the next node? And 4, and this is called as a 180. After that, the 14, what is the immediate 14? Let us take. All right. So now once it is taken, then it should be updated, then it will be the change in the cost is also changes. The cost is also changes. So in previous, for 11, it is a 6. Now it is a cost is equal to 4. Okay. And the next node is equal to 6. Now the next node is equal to 14. The next node is equal to 14. So this is a way to find out the breaking and the next immediate updation information. Okay. Right. But what is the problem? The problem is, so breaking will take the more bandwidth. So this is the main problem, right? Next. So this is the procedure. For the DSDV packet process algorithm. I already explained here. Next. In the routing updating table, the second one is called as a wireless routing protocol. What is the wireless routing protocol? The wireless routing protocol is similar to DSDV, but the wireless routing protocol can maintain number of tables. But in the previous, only one table is there, but now it can consider the number of tables. What are the tables are maintaining in the wireless routing protocol? First one is called as a DT, distance table. Next is routing table. Next is link cost table. And next one, message retransmission list. In previous, in the DSDV, only one table should be maintained, which contains starting ID, destination ID, cost, distance, and also immediate neighbor and sequence number. But here in the wireless routing protocol, it should maintain the 4 tables. That is, the 4 table updation is important than the DSDV, and remaining everything is the same. So first one is the distance table. This already knows that distance table. So what is the distance? What is the distance? One distance, two distance, three distance, four distance. Huh? What is the distance to the destination table? So these are all the destination dependent protocols. Okay, distance table maintain to reach the destination, what is the shortest path and what is the distance to reach the destination. What is the immediate? So that should be maintained by the distance table. Next, routing table. Okay, routing table stands for what is the predecessor. Okay, what is the predecessor? That means who are before you. What is the successor? Who are behind you. So that everything information should be available in the routing table. Okay, in the routing table. Everything is available in the routing table. And the next one, the status. The next one, status. What is the status? Whether it is a loop or it is a stale route. Okay, that status is also available in the routing table. Okay, next is link cost table. Cost. Already said that to establish a cost, I repeat, to establish a cost, it will require, what is the cost should be required? The cost should be minimum. So that information should be maintained by link cost table. Next one, message retransmission list. For each and every updates, suppose sometime link the data is not reaching. Sometimes it is required to retransmit the data. Okay, at that situation, this table contains each updated message along with the counter is there. What is the counter? Suppose if the that updated should be retransmitted. So somebody is requested the same, retransmitted. For each and every retransmission, I repeat, for each and every retransmission, the counter will become the decremented by 1. The counter will decremented by 1. Suppose this can be useful to find out the stale node or stale node. How? Suppose this node can sending the information that one, it is not respond. So again it can be sent by decrementing the count. Again it will send the decrement. Suppose if the count will decrement continuously and reaches to 0, then find out the neighbor is the stale one. So with the help of the message retransmission list table, we should be find out. Okay, right. Next, so actually in the figure, you should be finding a single table, but it is not a single table. It is a collection of the tables. Okay. So as it follows the DSDV, so node destination node is 15. What is the immediate node, and what is the cost? Okay, this is a PRED stands for predecessor. And before at the next to that is called as a successor. Every information should be available here, and again it should be broadcast. The updated information. Okay. Suppose by this way, what happens is that it should maintain the shortest distance. That is, a quickly convergence is possible. Now let us take the break problem. Suppose let us take from 15 to 12, there is a path. There is a path or there is a link. Suppose if there is a break, then what is the immediate one? The cost will become the infinite. Suppose in the DSDV procedure, a node can accept the updation if its sequence number exists, suppose X. If the upcoming information sequence number is greater than that, it should be accepted. Suppose X is equal to 10. Upcoming updated information sequence number is 25. Then it should be accepted. Now what happens? Infinite is the ultimate number, maximum number. So no maximum than that. So if there is a break takes place, then cost immediately reaches to infinite. Then immediately 12. And next one, this is called as a penultimate node. Penultimate node. What is a penultimate node? Penultimate node. What is a penultimate node? Suppose to reach the 15, what is the immediate neighbor of the destination is called as a penultimate node. So suppose after that it can reach a destination. After that node, it is called as a destination. So that's why here 12 is the penultimate node. That information is also available in the Arctic. Okay, in the DT, distance table, it should maintain the penultimate node. What is the penultimate node? The destination is 15. Then before that, what is the node is called as a, that is called penultimate. Okay, all right. So now you can, path is broken. If the path is broken, then immediately the cost will become the infinite, and that information first is changes. Second one is you can choose another path by using the routing table, by using the distance table. What is the choose another path? Suppose in the another path, what happened? What is the immediate neighbors to 12? 8, 4, and 10, and 14, and 13. So to reach the 15, then 14 should not be changes its information, and 13 cannot be changes its information. But who can change? 8 cannot be changes its information, because we want to avoid this 12. We want to avoid this 12 to find out the route for the destination 15. So that's why 4 can change this information, and the 10 can update in information, because they can find out either by 14, and they can find out by 8, 13 by 15. So in the WRT, three things are there. The first one, if there is a break, how should you find out the break? Because of the MRT. So that is MLT. So that is a count should be decreases continuously to 0. So then there is a problem. So break is there. Once you're finding the break, then the cost will become the infinite. That should be sharing to neighbors. Sharing to neighbors. Okay. So now, second thing is that sharing. Third one is that to choose the immediate path. To choose the immediate path. So to choose the immediate path, then the 14 and 13 and 8 cannot changes. Cannot be changes. Who can change that? The 4 and 8, because we want to avoid this 12. So that's why 4 and 10 should change, update this information, and they can share it to find the shortest path of the 15. So whether it is a path or whether it is a path, because I want to change, the 12 is not working. It is a break. So by this way, they can update the routing tables. Similarly, all the process is same, but what happens, it should maintain the 4 table. So that's why this is the main drawback. This is the main drawback. But what is the advantage? Once there is a break, then it should update, and it should be immediately finding the shortest path. That is called optimal convergence. Here. So thank you, and I should discuss the remaining protocols in the next class. Thank you.